Parallel and perpendicular slope. To determine the perpendicular slope of any given slope, you flip the fraction, change the sign, and that will give you the perpendicular slope you're looking for. So 7/4, you flip the fraction to 4/7. It now becomes negative because 7/4 was positive. 5/9, when you flip the fraction and change the sign, switches from negative to positive. When you deal with -3 and 8, remember the invisible 1 underneath both of those values. And so now when you flip the fraction and you change the sign, you get 1/3 and -1/8. So the rule holds. With 4/3, you can flip it. The negative fraction becomes positive. And my last example, again, you're flipping the 5 and the 6. And it really doesn't matter where the negative sign is. Here it was underneath, here it's up top. Once you flip the fraction, you change the side for the whole fraction and it becomes positive. Does the rule work for 1 and 0? Well, for 1, remember the invisible 1 underneath. And so when you flip that fraction and change the sign, it becomes -1. So yes, it works. With 0, same mechanics. There's a 1 underneath it. 0 divided by 1 is still 0. But when you flip that fraction and change the sign, it's -1/0. This is still a 0 slope. And the perpendicular slope would be undefined, or in your calculator, math error. So, flip the fraction, change the sign, perpendicular is the rule. And now for 6 examples of recognizing both parallel and perpendicular slopes. In the first example, the parallel slope, or the slope given, is 3. This is my sign for perpendicular. Flip the fraction, change the sign, it becomes negative. Now, x = 5 is an undefined slope. So when you flip that fraction, change the sign, it becomes a slope of 0. Moving over, the parallel slope, or the slope given, is -5/7. The perpendicular slope would be flip the fraction, change the sign, +7/5. I'll go down from here. Remember the invisible 1 in front of a variable without a coefficient. So in this case, the parallel slope is -1, and the perpendicular slope is +1. Moving to the left, y = 8 is a horizontal line, so that would be 0, and the perpendicular slope would be undefined. Last one, the parallel slope is the slope given, so that's -4/3. Perpendicular slope, flip the fraction, change the sign, is 3/4. Thanks for listening.